Hello folks, got some semi-exciting news for you really. I've been spending too much time with the old Gome Vision 6000. Anyway, I have some semi-exciting news for you today. It's not totally about the Red Arrow, but it'll be about what the Red Arrow's charger is going to be. And the bottom line is, we've got the MG ZS charger working. So let's go have a look at this thing and finally see it put out some current. Alright, so let's have a look at our test setup. We'll start out here. The Panzer is providing us some high voltage, courtesy of its CHAdeMO port. We'll come along in here, and we've just a 16 amp breaker there, and just a little plug top thing to supply 12 volts to put the Panzer into CHAdeMO mode. Here on the bench we've just got a charging socket, just a type 2, just got single phase AC, live neutral earth, and control pilot. That's it, no PPs or anything else going on here. Sorry about a mess here, it's kind of a lot of stuff going on. We just got I think it's a 10 amp granny cable and a type 2 plug. So coming back over here. Okay, here we have our second MG ZS charger. This is the one that you'll have seen me working on. This one I bought new. It was 100 UK pounds. And the guys confirmed for me that the car that this came from, it did actually work. So I didn't do any investigations on this or anything weird. I'd been doing all the weird stuff with this one for the last, I don't know, 6 months or whatever that I've been working on this. So in terms of connections here, we have our high voltage DC that's coming in from the Panzer. We have our power and CAN coming in here. And we have our AC on this plug that Johannes kindly chopped off from his charging port because he got a ZS CCS port, and he sent this to me. And this is kind of where it all comes together now. So let's do a quick demo. I've just got a DC clamp meter here. Let's turn that on and zero it there now. And that's clamped around the HV positive cable there. I've just got a lab power supply here that'll provide our 12 volts just to run the charger logic. We've got the the local CAN connected here just to this computer. We can play some CAN into our charger to get it working. So in order to run the charger, what we're going to do just for this first test is we'll turn on the HVDC. We hear the Panzer closing contactors out there, and we'll plug in our type 2 cable. Now at the minute the charger 12 volts is turned off. Let me grab the Savvy CAN here. Savvy CAN. And we've got to have the playback. There's the playback. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick on the 12 volt power. I got about 300 milliamps. And we'll start playing some CAN. So at the minute now, the I think I heard the current's gone up to 460 milliamps. Oh, there it goes. This is charger startup. And there we go. 5.2 amps going in on the HV side. And our DC current goes up to about 660 milliamps. Now if we come over here, we'll see our type 2 granny cable is granny cabling. So yeah, there's also a little bit of a hum coming out of the charger. Not sure you can hear that. We're just coming near the end of the CAN log there now, so presumably, oh yeah, there it goes. It's just going to shut down. But then the CAN log will start playing again. And there we go, we're back to 5.2 amps. And if we stop the CAN log, so I haven't tried this before, but we've just dropped back now. Obviously our current stops flowing. Restart it. Be interesting to see what happens. I'm looking at the DC current because that's my best kind of indicator of something happening. The AC is still on. Yep, there we go. And we're charging again here. So you can literally just stop the CAN log and restart it, and the charger will restart. So, alrighty. So let's have a little look here at our connections in a bit more detail. To say the wiring diagrams and so on that pertain to this are confusing would be an absolute understatement. But we'll start here. This connector on the left, as I said, is our high voltage DC. That one's pretty simple. In the middle here, we have one of these. I think it's a 12. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, it's a 12-pin Molex connector. I'll dig out the part number of that, but it's an available part. I don't think either of these are, but again, I'll see if I can find part numbers for them. Connections on here, now that we know, are actually pretty straightforward. So from the top left to the top right, what we have is 12 volts permanent, ground. So there's our first few. And the next one then, let me just check my labels on some of these wires here. The next one is a CAN bus. So there's a CAN high and a CAN low here. I just want to see which of my famous CAN buses that this is. Yeah, so this is what's referred to as local CAN. So basically what we have is we have 12 volts power, ground, CAN high and CAN low. The next connections then are the diagnostic CAN. Or sorry, there's a diagnostic CAN high and CAN low. Now, strangely enough, you can actually do UDS requests and get the thing to respond to you over that. But we don't actually need that diagnostic CAN at all. So for all intents and purposes here, it's basically 12 volts, ground, CAN high and CAN low. Going down to the bottom here, in fact, do you know what I'll do? Why don't I just pull this out and show it to you? This would be the easier way to go, wouldn't it? So, on the bottom left is blank. Second one then is a charger temperature sensor. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Or a charge port temperature sensor. The next one is this one that they call wake up. We don't need that at all. Next one is another charging port temperature sensor. The next one is cryptically called connect confirm. We don't need that one either. And the last one, at the bottom right, is the common for the charger temperature sensor. So all we actually need here, 12 volts ground, can high, can low, and 3 wires down here, which I have them as just brown, blue, and yellow, green for our charger temperature sensor, or charge port temperature sensor. So let me stick that back in here. So our charge port temperature sensor, I just have it kind of bypassed here, I guess is the way to do it, just with two 100k resistors. They common onto that yellow green, and then you just pick either one and just give them a 100k resistor, and that keeps the charger happy that its charging port is not overheating. So there's one more wire that we need to consider, kind of the key to the whole thing here, folks. So this is our AC connector. As I said, Johannes kindly chopped this off his charging port and shipped it across to me. Now let's pop him out of there as well if I can. Oh yeah, there we go. So the big wires are straightforward, right? We have bottom left earth, top left live, top right neutral. That's it, just single phase 230 volts AC. Now we got two wires in the middle here, and I had foolishly assumed these to be high voltage interlock. They're not. The bottom wire on here, the ground wire, or the bottom middle wire, this brown wire I should say, is actually the control pilot signal. And when we want to use this charger in stand-alone mode, not with the charge port controller, we need to route our control pilot from our type 2 socket straight to this wire. And that's it. Now hang on, Damien, I hear you say, what about the yellow wire? We don't need that. The yellow wire, but for those interested, the yellow wire here is looped straight through here. It doesn't interact with anything in the charger at all. It just comes in, comes around, and comes back out on this wire I was telling you about earlier, the connect confirm. So they're literally just short-circuited together. So what do they do? Well, the best I can figure out is this guy goes to the PP, the plug present, and the BMS then connects to this wire from the battery, and it's used to wake the BMS when someone plugs in the car to charge. But obviously we don't need that in this application here, so you can just ignore that. And that, folks, is how to wire up a MG ZS 6.6 kilowatt single phase charger. So now that we know that, we know how to physically connect the thing, which was 90% of the battle. And to be honest, the only way I really worked that out was I literally got into this and started digging into at least the input circuitry from some of these wires here. And on a bit more careful inspection of the wiring diagram, it kind of started to make a little bit of sense then. Problem is, this charger would then just not work for me. So I don't know whether, number one, this was just dead. Two, I killed it in the very early stages by putting weird voltages and signals into some of these pins that I didn't understand. And or three, I've actually damaged it by digging into all the goo and stuff that was inside there when I was kind of digging multimeter probes in there to find signals. But in any event, folks, I do this stuff so you don't have to. So what I decided to do was kind of, keep going at the thing, was just buy another one, and this one just works straight out of the box for us. Well, that's all great. Do we know how to wire the thing up properly now? I hear you say. But what about the highly complicated CAN messages with super fast transmission times, high bus loads, almost Enigma-like CRC checks in there, counters running backwards and forwards and all of this? What about the fact that it is 2 CAN buses? Do you need to have multiple high-speed CAN sending on all of those? No. You need one CAN ID to run this thing. And that CAN ID goes at 100 milliseconds on the local bus. It is ID 29C. And I haven't obviously fully worked out as yet, because I'm literally just making this video now, not long after getting the charger to work for the first time. It's ID 29C, runs at 100 milliseconds, has no CRCs, not even a counter in it. And that message basically does the full charger control. I had already worked out some messages in the feedback, some signals in the feedback messages, but I will come back to that and try and do a proper DBC. In the meantime, up on the GitHub for the ZS charger, I will upload the little, I made just a CSV file just with the for the playback that I just used here. It looks as if the charger will use the lower of the current commanded over CAN, or that comes from the control pilot on your charger or your plug-in, I don't know, EVSE, right? So that is where we're currently at with our ZS charger. I will, as I said, put that little CAN log up on the GitHub. In the meantime, I'm going to write a little Arduino DUI program, hopefully. That'll get our charger working, so we'll be able to switch it on and off from a keyboard. And obviously then, once we work out a bit more of the control, that'll be integrated into the Zombieverter VCU software. So it'll be another charger option for the Zombie VCU. Obviously, all of this information, it goes without saying, will be made open source on the GitHub repo. That'll be linked in the video description. So folks, there it is, finally, some success with our ZS charger. I hope you have enjoyed this. I haven't made too many videos about this because it's been just a slog. It's just, there's nothing interesting in it to folks. It is the proverbial pushing a rock up a hill just to watch it come back down again. Only you know that at some point, sometime when you push the rock up the hill, it's going to roll over the far side, not come back down and crush you. And that could be the first time that you do it. It could be the 1,000,000th time, but it's there. It's just going to happen. So I'll leave it at that. As always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs down. Unsubscribe if you have foolishly subscribed for whatever reason. I can't think why you would be, but just in case. As always, I have the links in the description for my Patreon and PayPal, just so you can avoid them, because then I just use your money to buy more chargers and stuff like that, and take them, hammer them. Like, I literally had to hammer some of the goo out of that. We don't want that. But I will have a link in the description for the GitHub for the ZS charger if you are interested in learning more about that. And I will, as I said, update that with a little Arduino program soon, and then we'll get her installed into the Zombieverter. And that charger there will be going in the red arrow. So that's kind of cool. I can actually start working on installing the charger in the red arrow. So anyway, I'm blah 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 blah. That's enough from me. we'll see you in the next semi-exciting video. And until next time, happy 29C transmitting.